I'm talking to my camera.
Sorry.
Hello friends! This week I'm taking a little break from sewing my Outlander capsule wardrobe and sewing something that I could wear when I want to show my patriotism. Veterans Day is just a few days away. I have had in my stash, I bought this homespun tartan skirt from Celtic Croft. Kilts and Stuff, I think, is their website, but they also go by Celtic Croft. The first tartan that I had in my collection, this is the Marine Corps tartan. For those of you that don't know, we are a veteran family. My husband was in the Marine Corps for 10 years. He had to be medically retired. I wanted something that I could wear that could represent, you know, my love for the Marine Corps and my military communities. It's just, I always felt that sense of a connection to what the prior military spouses went through back in the 1940s and 1950s. I just wanted to make an outfit to like make me feel closer to them. My family is also a Gold Star family. My brother-in-law died from his injuries that he sustained during the Afghanistan war, so I also wanted something that I could wear to kind of feel close to him as well. So my idea, this skirt has a lot of yardage in it. I'm going to pick apart this skirt and use it like just regular fabric. I will probably recycle the waistband because the waistband looks pretty good, and maybe even the pockets. The pockets are made out of polyester. It is not lined, so I think I'm going to have to line it. It does have a zipper, so I will probably recycle the zipper as well. I am going to use this pattern, the Simplicity 1950s Vintage 8747. I really like this. The skirt, I like how it has a little more pleats in the back than it does in the front. It kind of reminds me of Edwardian walking skirts. 2 weeks ago I was shopping on Facebook Marketplace and I came across this beautiful vintage knitted sweater, and looking at it, it was a steal. It was only $25 free shipping from California, and looking at it after it arrived, it is hand knitted. And I'm not exactly sure what era it comes from. Maybe let me know down in the comments below if you know what type of era this is after you see me wear it. It has like these really pretty sleeves, and it feels like it feels like Angora, but it's hand knitted, and I can't believe I got it for $25 and it fits me. And there's this beautiful embroidery work on the fronts. So what I need to do first is I need to pick this guy apart. If I'm going to line the skirt, then I need to run into my stash and look to see if I have anything that would be suitable for lining for this. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome to my fabric stash. Don't judge. I know your guys' fabric stashes probably look a lot like this. Okay, so I didn't have to dig for too long. Luckily, I came across this gown that I thrifted for like $2 or $3 because I thought I was going to make a Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter outfit from the material, but I never got around to it, so I'm glad I did. This is made of like a crepe chiffon, but it is also fully lined, so I think I'm going to use this liner to line my skirt, and it does match this tartan for a lining, so that's cool. So I have a lining. Okay, so here's the try-on. I mean, it's a lot of skirt, and it's a lot of good material. It's just, it does not fit me in the natural waist. It falls down, is way too long for my short self. Here is the Facebook Marketplace vintage hand-knit sweater. It's so soft. And I also found in my stash while I told you I like to thrift a lot of clothing because I can remake them. I did find a black cashmere sweater. It does have the tag on it. This one does not have a tag since it was handmade, but this one has a tag and it feels like the same. It makes me believe that this might be made out of cashmere, and so I'm really thankful that I was able to find this for the steal that it is. I'm going to my in-laws this evening to eat dinner, so I might bring the skirt and my seam ripper so I can go ahead and start seam ripping it out. But I will check in soon, maybe tomorrow. Today is is Wednesday. It is day 4 of this project, and I have only managed to rip apart my skirt and cut out the tissue pattern of my skirt. I have a lot of things to do today outside of sewing this. Like, my friends at home that like sew a project a week and have a YouTube channel and also do like other things, like have other businesses and mommy and stuff. Like I planned on last night staying up, but my son, Blake, he was on the autism spectrum, wanted mom to lay down with him last night for bedtime. So I couldn't say no to that. So I didn't get as far as I thought I was going to. I do have a dilemma though, and I probably should have not picked this pattern for this tartan, because for any of my friends that have ever sewed with plaid or tartan patterns and cared about pattern matching know like how much of a headache sometimes it can be for pattern matching and non-linear lines. And when I didn't realize this until I was cutting out my tissue pattern, that I'm not going on linear straight lines. Some of this is cut on the bias and some of it is curved. So I'm gonna try my best to pattern match. I feel like I could probably just go and make this as a pleated rectangle skirt, but I really want to make this skirt. So right now it is 8:30 in the morning. Cut out my fabric, and then hopefully I will have a skirt for tomorrow for Veterans Day. Oh, I forgot. So the day that I'm filming this is November 10th. So happy belated birthday, Marine Corps. I hope you guys all have a great birthday. And then tomorrow, Veterans Day, is November 11th. I hope all of my veteran friends have a fabulous Veterans Day. So I'm gonna drink some coffee, figure this out. I will have a skirt by tomorrow. I'm determined to have a skirt by tomorrow. Okay, I don't know if this is genius or stupid. So in order to make my life a little bit easier pattern matching, I took the front skirt piece of the pattern. It says to cut 2, and I'm like, that leaves a seam down the front of the skirt. And if I don't pattern match that exactly, it's going to look wonky. So what I did is I brought out my wrapping paper and I just folded it and created one big piece of fabric instead of sewing 2 pieces together. I don't know if this is going to work, but we shall see. So hopefully I will only have to pattern match the back pieces. And there, I really don't know how I'm going to do that because they are curved. So we shall see. So I have about an hour and a half before I gotta go pick up my kids and go be mom. So I'm gonna start cutting out my fabric. I think I know what I'm doing. I was gonna cut out a whole new waistband, but I think I might just reuse the waistband that came originally on the skirt. This waistband is a little bit too big, about half an inch too big for me, so I'm gonna shorten it. I'm gonna reuse the button for it. I'm about to spread out my pattern and cut my skirt pieces. I am going to go ahead and reuse the pockets. The pockets of the Celtic Croft skirt was basically a piece of like polyester with fashion fabric on the sides, and they folded it in half, which I've never seen pockets, or I guess I should say I never made pockets this way. They folded it in half, they finished the seams on the fashion side, and they sewed the bottom of the pocket and they just inserted it into the slit that way. So it's literally just a square. With all of my other skirts, it was like an actual like scoop pocket and all of that. So I do think that this pocket is a wee bit small, but I don't have the time or brain space to cut out new pockets because I don't have any more of the lining, the screen lining fabric to cut new pockets out of. And I think if I try to make pockets out of the wool, the tartan, it's going to be too thick. So I'm just gonna deal with it, and maybe I will regret that later, but whatever. I have about 3.5 yards worth of fabric, and I think it's 44 inches thick. So I mean, I have a great big amount of fabric. I will probably have a lot of fabric left over. Comment down below on what I should do with the rest of that Marine Corps tartan fabric. All right, let's go ahead and cut some fabric out. Alright, so I'm gonna try to pattern match off camera because I feel like it's going to take me 2 hours to figure this out and I'm gonna run out of battery. So I will try to do all those, cut this all out, and I will check in hopefully in a little bit. Alright, so here is the piece that I've already cut out. Here is my pattern. When I cut out this piece, the top of the skirt was on this side, but since they're kind of like triangle shape, I thought I was going to conserve fabric and flip it this way and pattern match from these stripes down here. However, let me show you something. Okay, so here is this triangle right here, and I'm like, okay, so this triangle is right underneath these two red lines. Do you guys already see it? Do you see it? I'm supposed to pattern match those together, but these stripes are farther apart than the rest, and you're like, oh, well, maybe it's a thin and then thick, thin, thick. Nope. Look, thin, 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 thin. Oop! Someone was drunk doing their job. So I am going to have to flip this the other way and try to match the thick lady to the thick lady. So yeah. Like, anybody else at home that has this Marine Corps tartan, like, is this like a thing? Like, maybe like the one thicker line on your tartan represents something that had like a battle, a commandant. Like, let me know. Okay, so
What?
I'm talking to my camera.
Sorry.
I said I'm talking to my camera. This is why I can't work after school. I was able to cut all of my fabric out. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I hope I pattern matched okay. So my next step is to sew up the seams. So I am going to sew up the seams and do the back pleat thingy, which you can't really tell, but it has like a pleat situation. I probably only have about an hour to work tonight. Oh, look at that. Look at that line matching, so good. So this is the back left. I have my pleat. Has this little weirdy guy. This side, the lines didn't match as well. Do I care? Yes. Do I care enough to pick the dart and try again? Not particularly at this point of my skirt life. So next I am going to stitch this seam to the center back and then put this over the center back so it kind of makes a gather in the the butt area. So I got the back center and the back sides, and now I have these little floppy doos to sew. So I have to sew these two together and then basically pleat it so it is behind the center back area, so you have a little floofy on this back seam. Done. So this is how it kind of looks. So the back center is kind of floofed. Have like a little bit more of the triangle right here. So when you have it on, it kind of just reminds me of a old time Edwardian walking skirt where you have more volume back here. So the back is done. Well, hello. Happy Veterans Day. This afternoon by the time uh-oh. Don't pop my ball. Don't pop my ball. Oh. I'm sitting on an exercise ball and my cat just clawed it. She already popped one of my balls. She already popped one of my exercise balls that I sit on for my back pain. I got the majority of this construction of the skirt done yesterday. I got the pocket sewn in. I have to now figure out the lining situation, figure out how to put that zipper in with the lining. But I will spend hopefully only an hour or so more of work, and then next time you see my beautiful face, I will have a pretty skirt.